Vera lives in a huge private house, but she is forbidden to leave her room. Marilia works in the house as a maid. She cooks food for Vera. Marilia uses a special elevator to deliver things and food for the girl. Vera asks to deliver a needle and thread for her next time. She puts on the dress and starts cutting it into pieces. Meanwhile, Robert is speaking at a medical conference. He says he has found a new way to help people affected by fires. Robert is an outstanding plastic surgeon, and he proposes to use a new method of skin grafting. After the conference, he returns home and looks at his TV. On TV, he watches Vera, who is in the next room. Robert enters the room and sees the girl unconscious. She fidgeted with her hands. Robert carries her into his operating room and saves her from death. The girl asks how long this will all last and asks to kill her. The surgeon does not answer her. He continues to examine the girl's skin and says that the skin is too delicate. Robert goes to dinner, but is distracted by Marilia. The woman brings fresh blood from the animal, and the surgeon goes to his laboratory. He conducts an experiment and creates new skin, which he sews onto Vera. Now her skin does not feel the heat, and there are no burns on it. But most importantly, the new skin doesn't attract mosquitoes. At the conference, Robert talks about his scientific discovery. He says that new skin will allow you to forget about malaria forever. He says that he carried out all the tests on mice and everything went well, but many doctors and scientists doubt his scientific discovery. A doctor he knows asks Robert how he was able to make the skin. Robert secretly admits that he used the pig gene. The doctor says that this is illegal and violates moral standards. But Robert says that his scientific discovery is more important than the rules. In the evening, he returns home and looks at the girl. He takes a smoking pipe and goes into her room. Vera asks if he likes everything about her skin. Robert says she now has the best skin in the world and no longer needs plastic surgery. The girl is incredibly happy about this answer. She asks, what will he do with her now? Robert promises to think about this issue, but the girl offers to live together like ordinary people. Robert gets angry and tells her that they are not ordinary people. He's about to leave, but forgets the lighter on the bed. Vera picks it up and gives it to him.
Toma. Podría prender fuego a la casa con esto.
Vera tells him that she all belongs to him. Robert leaves. In the morning, Marilia tells Robert that he made a mistake. He should not have made Vera like his wife. The woman advises killing the girl or having to hide her for the rest of her life. Robert doesn't want to kill her. He orders all other servants to be fired and no one else to be hired. One day, a strange man in a tiger costume comes to the mansion. He says that he is the son of Marilia. He just wants to see his mother, whom he has not seen for 10 years. Marilia recognizes her son and lets him into the house. It turns out that Zeka committed a robbery and is trying to hide from the police. He asks his mother to help him. He wants to stay and live here. But Marilia asks her son to leave and never return. Zeka notices a woman on the screen. He thinks that this is Gal, Robert's wife. He thought that she died in a fire. Marilia tries to stop her son, but he wants to find the hidden woman. He ties up his mother and begins the search. Very quickly, Zeka finds the right door. He opens it, but the woman tries to escape. Zeka catches her and leans on her with his whole body. He asks how she survived, because he left her to die in a burning car. Vera pretends that she understands what he is talking about. She says that Robert saved her and is now keeping her locked up. She asks to be saved, but Zeka wants to steal her to blackmail the doctor. He wants Robert to give him a new face. The man takes Vera back into the room and puts her on the bed, and then he does it. Vera says that she is in pain, but she endures it in order to save herself. Marilia watches everything from the kitchen. Soon Robert returns home and finds his maid tied up. He looks at the screen and sees what is happening in the room. Robert takes the gun and points it at Vera. Marilia hopes that Robert will kill both, but he shoots the man and hugs Vera. Robert leaves and takes the man's body with him. Meanwhile, Marilia tells Vera that Robert just shot his brother. She admits that she is Robert's real mother. But when he was born, he was taken from her by his owners. Zeka lived alone on the street all his life and became a criminal at the age of 11. But 12 years ago, he returned and asked his mother for help. Marilia hid it in the barn, but Gal found it. The woman liked him, and they ran away together. After the accident, Zeka ran away, leaving the woman burning in the car. Robert found her and saved her at the last moment. From that day on, Robert did research every day and was obsessed with his wife's skin. They had to remove all the mirrors in the house and hang dark curtains. After a while, Gal could already move on her own feet, and one day she heard her daughter's voice outside the window. The girl sang a song and played in the yard. Gal finally felt that she was still alive. She got up from her bed and walked to the window, but when she pulled back the curtains, she saw her face in the reflection. Gal jumped out of the window right in front of her daughter. A few years later, Normita will do the same as her mother. Robert returns home. He says he got rid of the body. He asks Vera to go with him to the house. Robert wants to make love, but Vera says that she is in pain and asks to do it tomorrow. She wants to get some sleep.
Duerme, mi amor.
6 years ago, Robert came with his daughter to a friend's wedding. Normita meets a guy named Vicente. In the evening, Robert goes outside to get some fresh air. While walking, he hears screams and moans. The young people decided to rest a little, but soon he finds his daughter's shoes. Robert finds her lying unconscious. The girl comes to her senses and is afraid of her father. She starts screaming and crying. The day before, Vicente was working as usual in his mother's store. He sews and sells women's dresses. Vicente invites the store employee to wear this dress and go to the ball with it, but she refuses him. In the evening, the guy comes to a party and meets Robert's daughter. During a walk, he confesses to her that he ate the forbidden pill. The girl behaves strangely and begins to throw away her shoes because she is tired of them. The guy thinks that she is also on illegal pills, but in reality, Normita is mentally ill. Vicente thinks that the girl wants to undress completely, and he decides to help her take off her clothes. But during the process, Normita becomes scared and starts screaming. Vicente covers her mouth and asks her to shut up, but the girl bites him and he slaps her. Normita loses consciousness. Vicente puts clothes on the girl and quickly leaves. Robert later finds his daughter. The next day, Vicente gets ready to leave town. He gets on a motorcycle and sets off on a journey, but Robert has figured him out and is in pursuit. He tries to push the guy out of the way. Robert takes out a gun and shoots the guy with a dart. He kidnaps him and brings him to his estate. A few days after the kidnapping, the guy's mother goes to the police. Officer, the police tell her that her son's motorcycle was found on the road, but the guy's body was not found. They think that he fell from a cliff into the river and was carried out to sea. But the mother does not believe and says that her son is alive. She asks to start an investigation, but the policeman refuses to do this. Meanwhile, Robert comes to the psychiatric hospital to visit his daughter, but the girl becomes hysterical and hides in the closet. The girl is afraid of all men and her father. She believes that he was her rapist. The doctor says that she should not have been released from hospital before. Robert is angry with the doctor and blames him for what happened. For several days, Vicente lives in the basement. Robert sometimes brings him water so that the guy does not die of thirst. But one day, Robert comes to meet him. He extends the hose and begins to wash the prisoner. Vicente begs him to let him go. He says he didn't do anything wrong. Later, Robert sets up a table in the cave and allows the guy to sit at it. Vicente lived alone for many days.
Come.
Espere, por favor, no se vaya. Por favor, no se vaya.
Normita jumped out of the window. Robert insults the doctor right at the funeral and threatens to sue him. An angry Robert arrives home and goes to his prisoner. He shaves him and puts him to sleep. Robert invites several surgeons to his house and asks them to sign documents. He says that the guy wanted to do the operation completely confidentially, but the documents were fake. The surgery is successful and Vicente recovers. He doesn't understand what's happening, and Robert tells him that he had sex reassignment surgery. Vicente is horrified to realize what has happened. The day after the operation, Robert brings special devices that will help the guy develop his new hole. If he does not do this, he may die. Now Vicente lives in his own private room. After 3 weeks, the doctor says that the hole is functioning perfectly. Vicente asks a question.
¿Puedo irme ya?
¿A dónde?
A mi casa.
Pero si solo estamos empezando.
Vicente asks why Robert is doing this to him, and Robert says that he is the father of the girl whom Vicente raped. The guy says that he is not sure that he did it, but Robert is not interested in his words. A lot of time passes. Vicente has undergone hundreds of plastic surgeries. Robert really likes what he did. Vicente looks like Robert's dead wife. Robert gives him a new suit, and from that day on he calls the girl Vera. But Vicente is not going to give up. He attacks Robert and escapes from the room, but he cannot leave the house. Robert takes the gun and asks Vera to go back into the room, but Vicente takes a knife and says that he will kill himself. Robert doesn't believe him, and Vicente makes a cut. Robert carries Vera into the operating room and saves her. He says they are very lucky. A few weeks later, Robert takes off the girl's mask and gives her new dresses, but Vicente tears them all. Soon Vera receives a gift, a makeup kit, but she only takes eyeliner to draw on. Robert connects a TV to her room, but it only has 3 channels. Vera decides to start doing yoga and write down on the wall how many days she spent in captivity. Robert brings Marilia home to take care of Vera. Later, Robert explains what he did. 6 years have passed since the abduction. Vera wakes up before Robert and decides to serve him breakfast. She walks into her room and sees bloody marks on the bed. From this day on, Robert promises Vera that she will be free, and she promises that she will never leave him. In the afternoon, Robert allows Vera and Marilia to go to the shopping center. Vera puts on a dress and heels, kisses Robert, and leaves happy. After they leave, Robert's colleague comes to see him. He found out that the operation they did 6 years ago was illegal. He thinks that Robert kidnapped the guy and conducted experiments on him. Robert gets angry and says that he has no right to blame him. Robert says that the missing guy now lives in Los Angeles and acts in adult films. Robert takes out a gun and asks the guest to leave. At this moment, Vera arrives and says that no one kidnapped her. She sits on Robert's lap and makes it clear that they are together. Robert thanks Vera for what she did for him. They go into the room and lie down on the bed. But in the process, Faith still feels pain. She says that she bought lubricant, but forgot it in her purse. Vera goes to Robert's office and sees her old photograph on the table. She takes the gun and returns to the bedroom. She points a gun at Robert and says she wants to kill him. Robert says that she promised, but the girl says that she lied. Marilia comes to the sound of the shot. She sees the body of her son on the bed and is about to kill Vera, but the girl shoots the maid first. Vicente leaves this terrible house and goes to her mother's store. He meets his mother and a store worker. First he tells the girl everything, and then he tells his mother. And that's where this crazy movie ends. Write your opinion about it in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch new videos.